So in the previous module, we introduced the concept of actually recording video yourself. So taking the initiative, using a webcam, using a smartphone, using an HD cam, no matter what it was, but actually taking the initiative to start recording video yourself. Now in this video, I want to talk a little bit more about how to really step it up and make much, much better videos, things that you didn't even think that you could make, and things that you should be considering when you're actually going about doing this. So the first thing to really do is to think about what separates a good video versus like a really killer video. Now, things like lighting. How clear is it when you talk? What's the content that you have? This is a big one. Obviously, it's bolded, it's underlined, because the real fact of the matter is the separation between a good video and a killer video has a lot to do with content. So you could have really, really good production, but really crappy content, and then it doesn't matter. And then vice versa. As your content gets better, your actual quality doesn't have to be as good. Now, there's also other things that we can talk about, like additional features, like doing a green screen or a chroma key, adding in music to your videos, adding in animation or transitions, and a combination of all of these methods. And I've highlighted one here where it, much like you saw in the UPS videos a couple of years ago, they narrated their videos across a whiteboard. And there's a lot of videos that do that. They talk through the video and then they animate through the whiteboard as they go. Now, I've seen this done manually and I've seen it done via animation. And this group, this RSA group, does a really, really cool job of it. So if you're ever on YouTube, check them out. So let's talk about what most people get wrong. And the first one that most people get wrong, especially when they're starting to talk about people lighting or product demos or actually just lighting a room, is getting the lighting totally wrong, so it's really hard to see what's going on. So to help enlighten us all as to what we should be thinking about when we're doing this, I want to highlight a method that's really standard called the three-point lighting setup. Now there's 3 lights in this room, so assuming that you're shooting the camera directly on the subject, now there's 3 lights that you need to set up. Now I'm not talking about having professional studio lights, but I am talking about trying to set it up so that you're controlling the lighting in a room in some way, shape, or form. So the first light that you need is this one that's over here on the left, called the key light. This is the strongest light in the room and it fills the scene. So you're lighting the object slightly to the left of the camera directly onto the subject. This is going to create some issues with lighting, and this is where most people stop, because they have a strong light directly on the subject or directly above the subject that creates weird shadows. So it's hard to see a person's face, it's hard to see definition in a product or a demo. So you need to step in with 2 additional lights at the very minimum. You need a fill light that fills the shadows created from the key light over here, but then you also need a backlight that brings out the definition and the depth of the field, and these are different lights, right? So the key light is a very strong light, it's a very tight light, so it's not very wide, whereas the backlight and the fill light are not nearly as bright and they're more of a flood pattern. So like you have outside of your house, a very wide angle lighting. But the combination of these 3 lights is really going to give you a complete package in terms of seeing the subject, what the subject is doing in the field, and getting a great view of the depth and the clarity of the field. So this is the first place where you see a lot of people going wrong. Even the people that are just sitting down in front of a webcam think about lighting. Secondly is sound. This is one that a lot of people get wrong too. Now I admit I get this wrong a lot too, because it's not the easiest thing to do. And the biggest place where you can make improvements with sound is with equipment. Now I'm not talking about expensive equipment. The equipment that I'm showing here that I'll talk about in a minute is not very expensive at all. So if you're recording just at a desk, I would highly recommend checking out some of the products from Blue Microphones. These are USB mics, hook them right up to a computer, and you can record directly into your computer. That's the first one here. Now, if you're doing a screen capture type setup, I highly recommend using something from Plantronics. Plantronics equipment, wireless headsets, record directly into the computer. Again, super high quality compared to some of the other ones. These 2 microphones, neither one's going to break too far over $100. I think the Blue Microphone ones are under $100 actually. Now, if you're doing some kind of field work or if you're doing interviews, you need to go to more like a lavalier or a lapel mic. Look at the stuff from Audio Technica. There's a lavalier mic that's on Amazon right now that's about 35 bucks or $25, and the sound quality is actually pretty good. So if you're shooting people and you need to just get them, clip a mic on them really quick for 20 bucks, that's a couple fast food meals, you can actually get much, much better sound quality. And even if you have good content and people can't hear it or it's really annoying sounding, then it's really going to ruin your video. So think about the sound. Also, editing. This is where I see people also kind of dropping the ball. So they'll shoot great video, and I see it with screen capture a lot, and I see it with other types of video, where they'll shoot the video and they won't clean it up. They'll just post it as they shot it. This is really important. So go back in, remove background noise, remove errors where you say something really, really stupid and you need to cut it out and splice the video back together and then process it. So go through and review your content. If you take a few minutes to edit, so if I take a 5-minute video and I sit down for 5 minutes and I edit it, maybe it ends up taking me 10 minutes total. So that extra 10 minutes that I spent is going to make my 5-minute video so much better than it would have been. This also allows you to look at your transitions, and it's a really good way to practice and get better at actually shooting video and speaking through a microphone. Now, also, this is probably the biggest of the bunch, and it's planning. Now, planning is one of the things that I personally really, really focus on when I'm doing videos. So I'm doing this particular series of videos. The first thing that I do is I sit down and I map everything. So from day one to day whatever, however long it's going to take. Here's my storyboards. Here's what I need to shoot videos on. I need to go learn the content. I need to go plan my scripts. I need to go build my slides. I need to build my actions, what I'm going to do while I'm shooting the video, because when I'm talking to you, I don't want to sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't want to stutter. I don't want to use or an or yeah, whatever kind of stutter type words are in a normal video that you see somebody just shooting when they're talking to their friends. When you're shooting professional video, you need a script, you need to plan, you need to practice before you actually start to record your video. And when you do that, you'll notice your video quality to really improve over time. So as you do this, get in a practice of storyboarding and scripting your videos at least a little bit, and then you'll start to see that this is a better way to do it and your video quality is going up. Now, if you really want to get better, you can get more advanced and think about things like green screening or using a chroma key. And that's kind of the green background where you can overlay a video behind a video that you're shooting. So if you combine a tool like Final Cut Pro for Apple, so obviously if you have an Apple device, you can go on to a MacBook Pro and get a green sheet from Kohl's or some other store, throw it up behind you, record a video. If you light the background right and you use Final Cut Pro, they have a tutorial up on YouTube, as a matter of fact, to say, how do you go from Final Cut Pro to build a green screen in your own house? Between the tool and the time it takes and buying the sheet, you can do this for about $400 in your own home. So it's really cool because this is something that everybody else uses in the industry. You can do this at your house for less than $400. I put $400 just because I was overestimating. The software is $300, so if you already have it, that doesn't count. And the sheet's probably another $20 or $30. So this is something you could actually do at your own house. Now also, music. Music is one of those types of things that can really help a video as well. It can help start it, it can help end it, and it can help move it along. But beware of licensing issues. Now I'm sharing a link right now to Creative Commons that allows you to get to a number of websites which offer free music which you can use in videos. Just be very, very wary to read the licensing agreements on these websites. Be careful not to use something which can get you into trouble later, because if you build up a lot of views, then it turns out they have to pull it because you put the wrong music on it, then it's going to be problematic for you. And then last but not least, thinking about outsourcing your videos. So if video really, really does scare you and it's something that you don't want to do yourself, or you don't have the time to do yourself, or you can't do it at the level that you need it done, think about outsourcing it. So everybody's familiar with the Warrior Forum. There's a Warriors for Hire. Post up a video project there. Write up a bid on Elance or VWorker or Guru.com, any of these outsourcing sites, and say, I need somebody to shoot this kind of video for me, and this is how much money I have to spend, and see what kind of bids you get. Now, if you want to go directly to a freelance video website, you can go to a website like wooshi.com. Now, I've consulted with companies before that have used this website, and it's actually kind of neat because it's a group of dedicated video professionals. So people like animators and professional video photographers are on there to do video for large companies and small folks just like yourselves. I know some of you are big folks as well, but this company is really great because that facilitates the relationship and allows you to get going with a real and true professional. So depending on any level of the scale that you're at, if you want to go really, really big, or if you want to just go a little bit cooler than what some of the other folks are doing, you could post a job on any one of these websites and or a site like Wooshi and get a real professional to help work on your video for you. And that's how you start to get to a point where you're going from just normal videos to really killer videos.